Druk land of the thunder dragon, is more than a name on a map. It is the story of how a people, a faith, and a landscape came together under one resonant word. In the early 13th century, Tsangpa Gyare Yeshe Dorje, a Tibetan Lama seeking a place of deep solitude, arrived at a windswept valley called Ralung. He had travelled for months with a small band of disciples, following rumours of an open meadow ringed by peaks, a meadow where one could hear the inner voice of awakening. When he consecrated that plain as the site for his monastery, a sudden storm broke overhead. Lightning lit up the sky, thunder shook the ground, and his followers later recalled lightning that danced like living energy across the hillsides. To Tsangpa Gyare, already renowned for his clairvoyant insight, this was no accident. He named the new sanctuary Druk Ralung, the thunder dragon of Ralung. And his community became known thereafter as the Drukpa, the people of the thunder dragon. Over the next centuries, the Drukpa order moved steadily south into what is now Bhutan. They travelled along narrow trails that wound through pine forests and alpine meadows. They stopped in villages to teach, to meditate, and to heal the sick. Wherever they ventured, word spread of Ralung's storm-born miracle and of the dragon's name. The monks carried sacred scriptures bound in silk, chanting in high-pitched tones as they walked. When a thunderstorm rolled in during one of their gatherings, villagers would kneel in awe, certain the dragon thunder was confirming the teacher's presence. Yet the land they were entering already had names of its own. In ancient texts, it was called Loman, the southern land of darkness, reference to its thick forests and deep valleys that lay beyond the well-trodden passes of central Tibet. Herbalists knew it as Menjong, the realm of medicinal herbs, for wild plants thrived in its varied climates, from subtropical foothills to glacial heights. To its inhabitants, these names felt apt. Their homes were shadowed by trees and mist, and their healers collected plants for cures that spread across the Himalayas. When Ngawang Namgyal, the great Drukpa Lama and spiritual heir of Tsangpa Gyare, fled Tibet in 1616, he arrived in these valleys seeking refuge from political rivalry. Local chiefs, impressed by his reputation and moved by the dragon stories they had heard, offered him sanctuary. He chose a ridge above the Paro Valley to build Simtokadzong and later Punakadzong at the junction of two rivers. As he constructed these fort monasteries, he gathered the feuding local rulers and forged a unified polity. He instituted a dual system of governance, religious and civil intertwined, placing himself as both spiritual leader and temporal ruler. In gratitude for the dragon's guidance and protection, stories say that a fierce storm had calmed at his approach. Ngawang Namgyal declared the land's new name, Druk, land of the thunder dragon. This was the first official use of the name. It appeared on decree seals, on prayer scrolls pinned to dzong walls, and in the vows the people recited at every temple festival. Under this name, the scattered valleys coalesced into a single kingdom. Linguistically, Druk is simple yet profound. Druk means thunder dragon, linking the sound of a storm to the image of a mythical creature. Yul means land. Together they affirm a singular identity. We are the land where the thunder dragon reigns. To be Drukpa people of the Thunder Dragon is to carry that name in one's very being. Over the centuries that followed, the name became woven into every aspect of Bhutanese life. The national flag adopted a white dragon, symbol of purity and guardianship, set against yellow, representing the king's authority, and saffron, representing the Buddhist faith. The king took the title Druk Gyalpo, Dragon King, and his queen Druk Gyaltswin, Dragon Queen. Even the national anthem, Druk Chendin, praises the Thunder Dragon Kingdom in impassioned verse. This naming had power beyond symbolism. It shaped policies and mindsets. When Bhutan later coined the phrase gross national happiness, it invoked a balance akin to the dragon's nature. Fierce enough to guard the land, yet wise enough to nurture its people. Forest preservation, cultural festivals, and spiritual practice all drew strength from the idea that Bhutan belongs to something greater than any one ruler or sect. It belongs to the Thunder Dragon itself. Children learn the story from their earliest lessons. How Tsangpa Gyare heard the storms at Ralung. How Ngawang Namgyal brought unity under Simtoka's walls. How every thunderclap in the high passes is a reminder that this place answers to the Thunder Dragon's roar. And when visitors traverse the Dokula Pass or stand before Punakadzong, they too sense the resonance of that name. The name is not a relic. It is the echo that still rolls across ridges when clouds gather, the living link between earth, sky, and spirit. Druk Yul did not come into being through conquest alone, nor by a single stroke of the pen. It emerged through centuries of storms and monastic chants, through the teachings of visionary lamas, through the unspoken bond between people and peaks. It is a name born of wind and rock, of faith and community, a name that carries in its 2 syllables the heart of a nation. Today, as Bhutan stands at a crossroads between tradition and modernity, the name Druk Yul reminds its citizens of where they came from, a land shaped by thunder, consecrated by dragon thunder, and forever bound to the soaring peaks that cradle its story. It endures because it speaks to something universal, the power of a single moment, a storm, a vision, a name, to unite a people and to give them a home in both earth and sky. And so the story continues. Each thunderstorm that rolls through the valley carries with it the memory of that first dragon thunder at Ralung. Each prayer flag fluttering against a grey sky is a tribute to Tsangpa Gyare's insight. Each child who says Druk Yul learns to feel in their heart the distant rumble of a dragon who once declared this place his own. Thus, the land of the Thunder Dragon lives on, timeless and unbroken, in every drop of rain and every crack of thunder across its high Himalayan home. And thank you for watching. Until then, Tashi Dele.